Have you ever been so drunk that you did a whole bunch of things that you couldn't even remember the following day? Well, I haven't, but my friends sure have. And today, we're gonna talk about the time that my friend was so drunk that he stole a pair of underwear. We still sometimes call him roba calzón. And if that weren't bad enough, there was also a rejection, and you'll never believe where we found my friend. So make sure you listen until the end, so that way you know everything that happened this fateful day. You have to understand that all this happened because we went to a competition. What kind of competition, you might ask? Well, it was a cheerleading competition. Yes, me and my friends, we were cheerleaders. Well, we were mainly to support the guys who would like kind of hold up the girls, and I really wanted to do it because I really wanted to learn how to do a backflip, which I've only been able to execute once in my life. But that's not the point. The point is, all this happened because of that competition. And that competition didn't take place inside of the city. It took place in Salinas, another beach city of Ecuador. So with the group that we had been training and practicing, preparing, and one day our coach told us about this competition. We were all overexcited and we wanted to go. I think the majority wanted to go because they wanted to get out of the city, but nonetheless, we were excited. In our group, there were about 10 people, about 5 guys and 5 girls. You could say everyone kind of had someone that they would get along with more, you know, on a kind of I like you level. Heck, even I at that time had a girlfriend. I know, it's a surprise. Me, I had a girlfriend. But there is something kind of tragic that happened with that girl who was my girlfriend. But I'll tell you about that at the end of the story. But anyways, we all trained hard and we got ready and we went. On the day of the competition, we traveled early. We made it there, had a hotel, left our stuff, got super ready to compete, and then we headed out. We weren't really ready, so it didn't really go that well. But the one thing I'm sure of is that everyone had a ton of fun. So once the competition was over, we all made our way back to the hotel. And this is where the real chaos begins. So I mentioned in my New Year's video that after everything Ecuadorians do, they always go to drink. This applies for celebrations, for failures, broken hearts, porque eres mi pana, for any reason. And this competition was no exception. My friends had bought a lot of liquor, and they decided to hold a kind of party inside of our room. The guys invited the girls and they came over. All of them were drinking except for me because I don't drink. But anyways, yeah, everyone was busy getting drunk, and some of us, because it was me and another one of the guys, were on the beds getting a massage from the girls. Yeah, I mean, I love massages. It was a fun time overall. But things started to get a little weird when one of the guys had left, and when he came back, he brought a girl from a different cheerleading squad. I still think it's hilarious because he was dancing with this girl, and while he was dancing with her, they kissed, and he kind of like pushed her on the bed, which is not cool, but she kind of like threw him off and then she left. By that point, the majority of us knew that that man was wasted, and it was even worse when we just saw him sitting there like blankly staring into the abyss. But from my point of view, as someone who wasn't drinking, I thought it was hilarious. But after a while, this man left again, and you'll hear more about him later on. And the rest of the night continued. The girls eventually left, and the guys started getting restless. Everyone started wanting to do different things. It was really weird. 2 of my friends wanted to go talk to the girls that they liked, and another friend was just kind of paranoid. But after a while, everyone started getting kind of worried because we remembered this guy who had left, but we hadn't seen him for a while. And then he comes in, and he's all laughing and smiling, and he's like, "Guess what I got?" And he pulls out a pair of underwear, panties. And we're all like, "No way, where did you get those?" And he's just laughing like, "Ya sabes, ya sabes." And I don't know if there's a level past wasted, but this man was clearly there. He leaves the underwear with one of my friends, and then he decides to leave again. And all of us hoping that he's not gonna go rob some more underwear. So like I said before, my best friend really wanted to go talk to the girl who he was kind of with. Like they were vacilando, kind of like getting to know each other, while kissing. So I accompanied him to go talk to her. We couldn't find her in the girls' room, so we started searching for her. Then when we found her, she was with the coach, who was also with another one of the cheerleading squads. And my best friend was kind of upset. So he asked the girl to come with him, and they went to go talk. I was there for a while, but clearly I had no place there. So I just left. I headed back to the boys' room, and at that point there were only 3 of us. And of course, another one of my friends wanted to go talk to the girl who he was flirting with. I mean, I say flirting, but they didn't really have any plans, and they weren't really together or anything. It was just my friend really liked her. So we went to go talk to her. And she was actually inside of her room. So my friend, super gallantly and everything, started talking to her. And they needed a bit of privacy, so they went inside for a little bit. So I couldn't really make out much of what they were saying. And I was left outside in the hallway. And remember, it was nighttime at a hotel, so it was really dark. And the environment was like the creepy horror movies where the lights flicker on and off. It was kind of scary. But then something really weird happened. Remember my friend who had stolen the underwear? This man walks by in the hallways. It was kind of like an intersection. So he walks by, and he was tippy-toeing. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I don't say it, but I look at him like that. And he actually looks at me, and he's all giggling, and he's like, shh. And then he looks back forward and keeps walking. And I'm like, what the heck just happened? Crazy stuff, to be honest. But anyways, after a few minutes, my friend comes out and he's bummed out. And he told me that the girl pretty much rejected him, that she only saw him as a friend. Sounds like most of my confessions. Which reminds me that a sad thing about that night for me is that I didn't even really get a chance to spend time with my girlfriend. Heck, I didn't even get a chance to give her a kiss. It seemed like she was avoiding me. Oh, story of my life. So we made our way back to the room, and there our other friend who had stayed behind was just like nothing had even happened. Like super chill. And by that time, it was really early in the morning. I'm talking about the sun was already rising. And there were only 3 of us in the room, which means we were missing 2 soldiers. So with my friend who was actually in pretty decent condition because he didn't just have his heart broken, although I felt like he was kind of drunk, but not so much, we decided to go search for these guys. So we went around searching for our friends, and I found my best friend next to the pool in a pool chair, like knocked out. You could probably even see the drool coming out of his mouth. So I went to go wake him up and we headed back to the room. So once we were back in the room, at that point there were 4 of us, and we still couldn't find the last guy. The guy who I saw shushing me in the middle of a hallway, and who apparently loves to steal underwear. So the guy who had his heart broken and my best friend decided to go search for him. I stayed in the room with the other guy who had probably stayed in the room almost all the night, and we were just chilling, talking. I was regretting the fact that I didn't get any sleep. When after a while, my friends come back dragging this other guy because he was just that wasted. And then they explained to us what happened. Apparently while they were searching for this guy, they heard a scream. And when they went to go check out what had happened, it was a scream from a room of a girl from one of the opposing cheerleading squads. And she had screamed because they found this guy under her bed and she thought he was dead. Oh my god. So these guys had to go and drag him out and apologize like a million times to these girls and then take him back to our room. The weirdest part about him being in that room, other than the fact that it was clearly not the right thing to do, is that it was really hard to determine how he got in that room in the first place. Let me explain. The room was locked. It was locked. And apparently it was in the middle of the hallway. Why is that important? At the end of certain corridors, there were these balconies that you can actually be on. And if you looked to your sides, you could actually go onto one of the porches of one of the other rooms. So our assumption, in order to make this a little bit less weird, is that this man jumped from porch to porch until he found a room that was open and he went in. According to him, in his half-drunken state, he had gone into the room to just play a prank on the girls. Like he was under the bed, just like kind of tickling them. True or not, that's what he told us, and how he got in that room, like for real, we'll never know. And then of course, once everyone was together again, we packed our things and we headed back home. And that was that crazy story. Oh, and the crazy weird thing that had happened with my girlfriend is that we never technically broke up. She just kind of randomly disappeared. It was like once we got finished with that trip, she was just gone. I tried calling her to see if we could hang out and talk. She only answered once, but after that, she was just gone. According to my best friend, he actually did run into her later on. Like we're talking about years down the road, but it was like nothing had happened. So now you know. And obviously, even though we didn't break up, in my mind, she is long gone, and her refusal to even want to communicate with me is more than enough sign for a breakup. But yeah, it's just weird and funny that we never actually broke up. But life goes on. And I think worse things have happened to me before. Like if you didn't hear about the time that I got robbed in Ecuador, you definitely want to go check out this video over here. You can support the channel on buymeacoffee.com, where you can buy me an encebollado. I'd really appreciate it. And make sure you take care, don't overdrink, definitely don't steal underwear, and as always, ace out.